Thank you all. Folks, as the credits roll, please welcome back the director of the film, Ayelet Menachemi. And the star and co-writer of the film, and one of the producers as well, Elinor Sela. And please welcome to moderate the conversation, we have Tomris Lafley here, writer and film critic. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for attending the screening of this amazing film. I'm so excited to moderate this conversation. I will kick us off with a few questions and then we will throw it over to you guys. I'm sure you want to talk about and ask about the movie too. So before we start, oh, sure.
Bon appétit.
Right. Okay. Before we start talking about the movie, I want to acknowledge that I know you have screened in LA, but you have flown into US from Israel, from Tel Aviv. So I want to ask both of you, how are you doing? How are you feeling? It's so great to have you here. You can start.
Thank you. Actually, we are broken. You know, there are so much of our beliefs were shaken. I'm thinking even I saw now the movie. By the way, it was so excited to hear you laughing and so moving and emotional. I didn't hear laugh for, I don't know, 1 month. And I heard a lot of laughs with this movie. So it was, it really was back to life, you know. And our beliefs were really shaken because I just started to say that I looked in the film and I saw the kaftan, the Moroccan dress, that it's a, you know, it's a celebration dress for me all my life. And now, last week we saw a movie of one of the one of the kidnapped women that they dressed up with a kaftan, and I was like shocking. I said, "Oh my God! Even this won't be again, never the same again, never again." And you know, I'm thinking about so much things. I heard on news 2 weeks ago a terrible phone call from a terrorist to his parents, and he told his father, he talked from a phone of a woman that he just murdered, and he told his father, hold your head up, be proud. I did it with my own hands. I killed 10 people. And I was so shocked because, you know, as a writer, I always believe that the essence of everything is lies in the intention behind the action. And now I'm listening to him and I said, oh my God, I made a film that for my parents to be proud, and he is murdering people to his parents to be proud. And you know, a child that wants his parents to be proud of him, it's a human motivation. And my brain can't accept it, that from a human motivation you can do such a horrible things. So everything, it's so confusing.
Would you like to add something? How are you doing?
actually, when I was coming down in the elevator now, I was just swamped by so much sadness. And it happens so many times because the dissonance between what we're experiencing here and just, walking in the streets even with the marathon, and everybody's so happy, and we come in a state of shock from a state in shock. The film came out September 7th, and it was doing so well in cinemas. It was phenomenal, really. Also, the critics loved it, and there was so many people going. About 250,000 in a country of 9 million. It was really unbelievable. And then, exactly 1 month later, we were like, really, we were beside ourselves with happiness. And 1 month later, everything changed, everything stopped, everything became a totally different kind of existence even. And when we came here, on October 7th, it's like we forgot about the film, totally. Like, even in our mind, the film stopped to exist, and we had to, feel and think or not think. We were so shocked about such different things. And when we came to LA, and we started showing the film again after another month, it was so weird to just remember that this film exists, and actually just by having people seeing it again, watching it again, reacting to it again, it sort of revalidates the mere existence of this film. So it's shock after shock, but for us now, it's like it's strange, it's weird, but it's also so inspiring to start showing it again to people and experiencing the reactions again. And thank you so much for that.
We actually want the number 7 to be blessed again. Really, it's so. We are. By the way, we are in Street 77. My room number is 7009.
Be careful with that now.
Yeah, oh my God, they all can come now.
Stays here.
You don't know who can come.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
I should say, as disorienting as it must have been for you, it's really, really nice to have you here with this beautiful film. And I do hope that you can take this opportunity to take this all in and celebrate the fact that you made a beautiful film, and you deserve to celebrate it.
Thank you
for being here for this.
Thank you.
So let's dive right into talking about the film. This is, a phenomenon that I wasn't familiar with. I myself am from the Middle East. I'm sure it happens in my country too, but I did not know that this existed. So I want to ask to both of you, maybe we can start with you, Ayelet. How did you first come to this topic? Does it have a personal meaning to you and your families? So let's start with you.
Well, I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. In the end of this process, when stories started coming out, how do they say, monsoon frogs, just jumping after the rain that came from this film. So many stories came out, and apparently there were a few even in Eastern Europe. There were stories everywhere, but we'll get to it. But I think this question should be originally aimed at Eleanor, because I came into the project in a quite later stage. So first was the screenplay and the idea. So
and Eleanor, you're co-writer of the script, so you tell us how did you arrive at this?
It's based on a true story from my family and Raymond's family, because we are second cousins.
And Raymond plays Marie in the film.
Yeah.
So you're playing sisters, you're second cousins, and you're co-writers. It's a lot to navigate.
Yeah. And two sisters of my grandmother gave 2 daughters to their 2 barren older sisters. or in Moroccan way, Aunt Musodi and Aunt Simi gave Mari and Ricky to Grazia and Rahma. And the unbelievable thing is that I didn't know about the two of them. I knew just about one when I started to write. And when I called Raymond and asked her if she wants to join me to the process of the writing, she was in shock, and she told me, "Did you know that my mother-in-law is also a lone girl?" And I said, "No, I didn't know." And then I start to understand that it's bigger than my family, but they didn't talk about it. They didn't talk. I think they didn't talk because, Israel is a country of immigration, and almost every ethnic group in Israel was taught to be ashamed in her tradition or in her customs. And even my father, there is a traditional before the wedding, the Moroccan traditional, that calls henna, that you put on your hand, henna, for luck. And it's the stain remains for a few days, so you actually remarked by your tradition. And my father, he's 74 years old, he never put henna on his hand. Actually, the first time he did it was before the Israeli Academy Award, and it helps. We won 10 awards.
10 Israeli Oscars.
Yeah. But what is more important than this, that he actually, and a lot of people in Israel, after watching the film, got the courage to be who they are. And even I realized that I also denied my Moroccan Jewish identity, and this film is therapeutic, really.
I want to talk a little bit about the amazing way you orchestrate these 7 dinners, because the spaces are tight. There are a lot of people, and we have to get the personality of each person, and your camera remains so fluid, so graceful. Everything is very precisely choreographed among long takes. So tell us about orchestrating all that. You're like Martin Scorsese shooting the Goodfellas scene almost, in my mind. So please tell us a little bit
Can I
more
go
about
now?
that.
It's a good time.
You can quote me on that.
We'll leave it at that. The thing is, it's interesting because, the first time that Ronen Bental, the producer, called me and asked me if I want to read a screenplay and maybe direct it, I read the screenplay and I called him and I said, "No, I don't want to do it." And he asked why, and I said, "Well, it's just small spaces and a lot of dialogue, and I don't know how you can do something that is cinematic." It just felt a little bit like theater, and I thought it would probably be, I want to do some, I want it to be visual and, a challenge. So I said no. And then for a few hours, I was kind of boiling in it. And I was talking to my husband, and I said, I always say no. First thing I say no, but why not? Maybe I look at it as a challenge, and not, because I'm a little bit sociophobic. So I thought 25 people in a room, I can't even handle 2. So what I'm going to do there? And I said, okay, but this is actually, I don't have much left to live, so maybe I should go out of my comfort zone and, do something with it. And then I started thinking, and I thought, well, there could be a way to tackle it if I could find how to make it dynamic. And when I said yes, I called and said yes, and the ball started rolling, then the first thing I did was research. It's not that I don't know this culture, because I have a very, very good friend, and I've been in many dinners like this. But I started going to meals and dinners, and when I would come back home, I needed about a week to recover, because it was really a total attack on all the senses. I had to diet for a week. I had to sleep and just recuperate. So I started to study, and I saw it was really like there was no particle that wasn't in movement or in talking or in doing something. So this could be, somehow reconstructed and shot. And then we started working in something that is really dynamic, and the only thing to do it is really to do it documentary style. But the thing is that it was orchestrated, everybody has done a lot of rehearsal in the locations, so everybody knew their places, they knew each moment where they are supposed to be and what is their job. And since maybe half of the people were non-actors, family members, even in some of the main roles, so they knew what they do in these meals. And they were actually kind of coaching the actors and actresses how to do it. So there was a lot of work at the pre-production to make this family really bond, and they did a lot of dinners together, and it was just a joy. By the time we started shooting, everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody got the instruction to act as if that they are in the frame all the time, because we really didn't know if they would be in the frame or not, because the cameraman, the DOP was dancing around the room, basically. So so it was alive, and the whole thing was really make it alive all the time. And it worked.
It did. And before I start taking some questions from the audience, I want to ask to both of you, as foreign this concept might be to our modern world, as easy as it would be for us to, judge this kind of decision, you can also see it as an act of love, as an act of generosity to, protect another woman. It's an act of sisterhood. So how hard were you, or how maybe easy or important for you to embrace this non-judgmental tone in the movie, to make sure that these decisions are seen for what they are, so we're not judging them from where we're standing. You made a beautiful film that's not judgmental, but an act of love. So maybe talk a little bit about that, both writing it and directing it.
It was very important to me, because at the beginning, I was very judgmental, because as a mother myself, I thought, how can it be that a primal emotion like motherhood can be culturally dependent? I wouldn't give my daughter to my sister, and I love my sister very much. And when I made the research and I started to write the characters, I started to understand how generous it is. And like she said, this was the surrogacy of those times. Mm-hmm. They don't have other choice. And when the film was released in Israel, I was flooded with messages from women that were given as children, and they said, now that we know that we are part of a phenomenon, we can maybe start forgive our mothers. And we were shocked to realize that it was everywhere. a woman with roots from Iraq, Italy, Greece, even Japan and China, and so you can't judge them. It was so. My grandmother Hannah always said that when people ask her, how can it be you can put 40 people in such a small house? And she said, when your heart is big, the walls are going, so this is the same. It's the same heart.
And Ayelet, do you want to add something to this?
No.
All right, let's take some questions from the audience. There's one hand over here, and wait for the mic.
I'm just going to ask that we keep our questions short and to the point. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say, and I think I would be speaking for all of us, saying that we really needed to laugh. It's something, because, I'm curious about the fluidity of moving through through the different languages, how fluid and I'm wondering, is that in the writing? Is that in the directing? Were the people just naturally speaking in the language that they felt best for them to give it? Because it really sounds like people speak 2 or 3 languages. That's how they talk.
Great question about language. So many of them are spoken.
It was in the writing because that's how my grandmothers talked, and we actually, Ayelet is very, very
Perfectionist.
control freak. Let's say, come on,
No.
let's face it. Sorry.
No way.
If you
No.
can't
It was
say the
much
word,
worse
you-
in the past. Yeah.
So we actually we have colors that we say French, Hebrew, Moroccan, and in every sentence we know. But it was really
But no.
no,
Not
almost.
only that it wasn't improvised, most of the people that speak in those different languages, they don't speak them. They don't.
Oh.
So there was a lot of language coaching. It was really hard. The Tiki Dayan who plays Hannah, she said no when we asked her to do the role because she said, I'm over 70. I'm not going to learn a new language now. I won't remember anything. It's hard for me just to remember Hebrew now. So forget about it. And we said, no. We have a wonderful coach and everything will work out. Like even the French speaking, the groom, Dan, he's Israeli. He came to audition because they told us that he speaks French. He didn't. It was his agent wanted to, get him into the role. And he was
True
like
story.
sitting there and he was sitting there and we asked him, okay, so show us how you speak French. And he said, what? No, I don't speak French. But he was so cute. He was so nice. He was so pleasant. He had all the things that we were dreaming about. So we asked him, would you be able to learn French? He said, yeah, sure. And then after a few weeks with the coach, he just sent me those, recorded messages on WhatsApp. And it was just a bunch of 20 replicas in French that I couldn't even recognize him. He's so good technically. So we went through each and every one. Jill, who plays his mother, no French. Nothing at all.
Wow.
Nothing. The only one who spoke French was
Even
the father,
me,
and
when
we sent him back to Paris.
Yeah, when the coach, the Moroccan coach, came to me and he started to teach me, I didn't know a word, and he said, "You wrote this film. How come you don't know?" I said, "I don't know. You heard the daughter. She said, Grandma, Hebrew. This is me. This is me. I didn't want to hear the Moroccan language, and now I pay." So.
There is so much more to discuss here. I'm sorry, but we're actually out of time. So you're all going to have
but
to
we
come
were
back
just
tomorrow
trying-
night when we're going to do this again and
starting to
continue
move.
this conversation.
I can ask you maybe a million more questions.
Come again
Thank you
tomorrow.
so much
There's
for
another
being here.
screening and another Q&A.
I'll say, just give me two more things to tell you. First of all, support this film. Let people know about it. Spread the word. You could go to our Israel Film Center Fund and actually support their tour and their Oscar campaign. I'm happy to talk to you about that afterwards. Also, please let everybody know about all the Israeli film events coming on. We need this right now. So thank you all so much. Thank you for this beautiful film.
Thank you.
Thank you and have a good night.